This is our professional show.
Do what?
It's our professional show.
Are we live?
We're live.
Hello, children.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live with a Dog. Oh, Lord. I don't know what he's doing. That's Mommy's fan. Let's not mess with that, because I do need that sometimes. All right. Thank you so much for watching us live on Facebook and YouTube. You can also find us on Instagram at Hollywood Matrimony and on Twitter at Hollywood Matter, MATR. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, thumbs up.
He moved all the pillows so he could get himself comfortable.
All right.
No.
You sit down there, baby. Sit. Hey.
You're doing just
Good.
fine.
Lie down. All right. So both dogs are here today. We'll see how that goes. You know, sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. Here she comes.
And more often than not, it does not.
It does not. But we're going to do the best we can. All right. Let's share this out. Everyone take a moment to like and share. That's what we're doing over here. And we will get started here.
See, Vader, you made too much noise, man.
Lie down. You're fine there. Oh, okay.
Put your butt in his face.
Okay. Well,
Hey.
that's what she does. Now they're sniffing butts. Oh, Lord. This is so unprofessional.
You can't be up here, baby.
She can.
She just used my leg as a slide.
Well,
Okay.
that's what I do to you.
Use my leg as a slide? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Okay, well, let's get moving with this.
All right, so we have so many movies to talk about right now. I am so
And for once,
excited.
one of the rare opportunities that we've seen, with the exception of one thing I'm going to talk about, we've seen all of it together.
Together, yes.
Yeah, so it's
Very
not a whole lot of
exciting.
just me yapping.
I have a little nose drippy. I'm just gonna go like this.
Usually it's me yapping for hours
gonna
at a
do
time
this.
because you don't watch anything.
This can be your cover photo.
Okay, anyway.
Please select that.
So you're
for
going
the
to tell
image.
everybody the information, or did you already do
I
it?
already did.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was dealing with
I
the
was giving
canines.
everyone a time to like and share, which I think you have, so thank you.
I
So
was
here
dealing
we
with the
go.
canines.
Let's get started.
All right, what do you want to talk about first, ma'am?
Man, we have so many movies to talk about. I can't even tell you what we've got. What do you want to do?
You tell me.
Because we've got everything. Man, let's just talk about this.
Okay.
Because I've been so curious about this movie.
Okay, so this is a movie I've been waiting for
really
quite
wanna
a
know.
while.
Okay.
It's a movie called Iron Mask. Now, the appeal to the movie when the trailer got released, and even before that, is the fact that it stars Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan.
Right. Let me make this bigger so
And
everyone
also
can see this
Jason
image.
Fleming, which, like, at the image you put has Charles Dance, who Jason Fleming is like. It's okay. So this is
I'm confused because this is a.
okay.
A
So
re-
first, I want to. It's not a re of anything. Let me explain
Okay,
it.
I'm confused.
This movie is a sequel
Okay.
to a movie called The Forbidden Kingdom, not the Jackie Chan Jet Li Forbidden Kingdom. It's a Russian movie, and this is a Russian.
Jackie Chan just happens to be in this.
I'm going to explain.
Okay.
So Jason Fleming started a movie called Forbidden Kingdom. That was a Russian film.
Okay.
And it's like this guy who maps whatever. So it's like kind of an action adventure with some fantasy elements.
Okay.
I've never seen the original.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm doing Donald Trump hands, but I've never seen the original. If I was going to do Donald Trump hands, I'd have to have little tiny
But
hands.
the other thing you have to do is stand like this.
Yeah, where you lean forward. My ex-wife stands like that. So anyway,
Sorry, if y'all can see my pajama pants.
I don't know what year the movie came out, but it was like a major hit in Russia.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yes.
And it got a very small, I think you can find it on pay-per-view and stuff here now. And again, it's not the Jackie Chan Jet Li one. That's the American production. So because of that movie's success,
So confused.
they made the sequel. And I don't even know what the original sequel's title was. Iron Mask is the American release. They're releasing this as a single movie by itself. Okay. It's not being released as the sequel to anything. Now, Jason Fleming is in this movie again. It's the same character.
I gotcha.
As well as the other guy, which maybe is Charles Dance. But because of the popularity of the movie, that's how they were able to secure Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan.
Okay, now
Jackie Chan is a producer on the film. So now, the big fear when you get movies like this that don't have a big hype behind them, and they're international films, because this is a dubbed movie too. So you can see there's some people speaking English, and you can see some people that they're clearly speaking like Russian because their mouth isn't totally matching.
Yeah, this is hard.
Which is fine, but with this kind of production, the fear is, are they actually really in the movie?
Yes.
Or is it just a cameo? They walk by the screen and then they're gone.
Yeah, that's what I would want.
I'm happy to tell you that they are in fact in the film.
Are we happy they're in the film?
They're in the film about as much as I expected. In relation, hold on. I got some sticking out over here on my computer. And I got a dog that's going to tear it all up if I don't move it. Sorry. Yeah, they're both in the movie. The opening of the film is basically, without spoiling it, Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Captain Hook. Now, I don't know if it's the same Captain Hook or not, but that has this prison, and he makes the prisoners fight him for their freedom. So he just is beating up these Asian people left and right, and if they beat him, he lets them go free. It's like a sport to him.
Right.
And Jackie Chan is one of the people in the prison. And then there's another guy who's telling the story, not who I thought it was going to be Jason Fleming's character, but it was a different character, which I'm assuming is Charles Dance. And so there essentially is a fight between Jackie Chan and Arnold Schwarzenegger. So when you watch the trailer, the American trailer that I put with the review and on our YouTube channel, that's the American release trailer. So it makes it appear that the stuff they show in the trailer is almost the majority of them in the film, just expanded.
Yeah.
But Jackie Chan and Arnold do show up later in the film and at the end of the film. So it's not just a quick walk on for 5 seconds and they're gone.
All right.
But they are not the main antagonist situation of the film.
Right.
Jackie Chan's character is a little bit bigger part of the story than Schwarzenegger's. That being said, I had a blast with this movie. It's like a fantasy adventure. It looks like it's a martial arts film. It's because it's dealing with like this ancient dragon and these Asian people that are walking around, and there's tons of martial arts fighting. It looks like a Jackie Chan Jet Li movie, one of those epic wushu type films.
Love it.
It feels kind of like a cross between like Pirates of the Caribbean meets Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon meets I don't know, just wacky adventure, because it's kind of silly and cheesy.
Yeah, it's fun.
The effects are decent. The dragon I think is really cool, but they come off a little more video game like than they do realistic. But that's kind of par for the course from a lot of these films like this.
Yeah.
But as a standalone film, if you're expecting to see a Jackie Chan or a Schwarzenegger movie, you'll be sorely disappointed. Yeah. But they're in it enough that it's entertaining.
Yeah.
They do have a nice fight going back and forth and seeing how they connect and how they come back and the full circle of it. I had a fun time with the movie. I was watching the movie, and when they weren't there, I'm like, okay, that's all we're going to see of them. I fully expected to check out the movie after that. Yeah. But I got enthralled with all the other fighting and the funness and the dragons. And so it's one of those movies. It's a little cheese. It's fun. It's not what I was hoping it was going to be, but it was what I expected. It was more than I expected it to be.
That's good.
Because I went in just expecting Arnold Schwarzenegger's like, I'm Arnold, and then I'm out,
Yeah.
So it's not
I'm Arnold. I'm out.
I'm Chan. I'm Arnold. Peace. It's not the fight that I'd always wanted to see those two action icons at their prime. But that's cool. Getting to see it was enough to make me happy.
We got it. That's cool.
So Iron Mask is available on Blu-ray and DVD right now from Lionsgate. And they do a cool thing where they do a back montage.
We need a montage
of the first film to set it up.
So we can.
But it's not done like there's a first film. It's just like they're telling this other guy's story. What happened?
They're just telling the story.
But it's clips from the other movie.
Okay.
So you know the story of how they got to where they're at without ever needing to watch the other movie.
Okay. So if you happen to have not seen it,
I've never seen the other one, and I did not feel lost whatsoever.
Okay.
So
I'm down.
Yeah. But apparently this movie was made, I want to say in 2018. Mm-hmm. It's a few years old. And again, it was one of those that I don't think it got a big release, but I think this was a massive hit in Russia as well. So
that's cool.
Who knows? Anyway, Iron Mask, Jackie Chan, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's all you need to know. Check it out.
Okay, cool. All right, now we have so many other things to talk about. What do you want to talk about?
Well, do you want to talk about ones because we have two sets of films that have two parts. We got to kind of discuss
which one do you want to talk about first?
I don't care. Unless you want to get into single films. You want to go to that one first?
Yeah, we'll just go in this order.
All right. So the next one is an animated film that I'm a big fan of.
Yep.
Of the original.
Yes, I agree.
I don't even remember what year it came out. Was it like 2017?
Maybe 18? So.
My review will say it.
Well, now you're just asking me to do way too many things. You're asking me to actually participate actively in the show.
Anyway, we're talking about The Croods. DreamWorks' new animated film about an all-new Stone Age family. Oh, see what I did there? 2013. Oh, man, it's been that long.
Wow.
So the original.
No wonder I hadn't remembered a lot of it.
Yeah, the original Croods came out in 2013. It's about what do you tell everybody what it's about?
So it's about a family called the Croods, and they are cavemen or cave people.
You say there's women here.
Yeah, they're cave people, and their daughter Eep is just a free spirit, and she wants to leave the cave. Hold on. So she wants to leave the cave, you see, and when she leaves the cave, she finds a guy who's not a cave person.
And his name is Guy.
His name is Guy. And he's a little bit more evolved than cavemen. So he's the next thing, which would have been, what, Cro-Magnon?
I don't know. So
Whatever.
anyway, that sets their adventure up.
That's the Croods. So they're on an adventure. Pangea is happening. Gondwana Land is disappearing.
So we dive back into the original like we do every time we're going to see a sequel. We always rewatch them. We got to watch it on our lovely theater home.
Yes, we got to watch it here on the big screen.
If you want to see what our theater home looks like, go to our YouTube page and you can see how we made our theater for under $500.
Yeah.
So how did you feel revisiting the Croods?
I really liked it. There were things that I guess I just didn't remember. It's been a long time, but I mean,
I haven't watched it again since I know I saw it in the theater.
That's the last
time. And then I remember watching it when we first got the Blu-ray.
It was a long time ago.
But that's it.
Who knows?
That was all 2013, 14, whatever.
That was like 2 houses ago.
I'm already training a whole new martial arts system.
I mean, I honestly didn't remember some. It was really good.
It was. The first one holds up very well if you haven't seen it well. So that being said, we jump all the way to 2020 in the world of no theatrical releases, and we've got the new one, Croods, A New Age. So we're revisiting the Croods. We're catching up with them. What have they been doing all this time? Where are they going? What's happening? And the film opened in theaters.
Yes.
So we took another trek to the theater.
We did.
To watch the Croods. We were going to watch it on Thanksgiving Day.
We social distanced. We wore our masks. We had hand sanitizer and wipes.
And this was the first film because we've seen Tenet, New Mutants, Cutthroat City.
And they were fairly empty.
What was else? What
else?
The
one with the angry driver guy.
No, we saw that here.
Oh, did we?
Remember we had people over.
Oh, on the big screen.
Anyway, we've seen 4 or 5 films. I think at this point.
We've been trying to support.
This is the first film, and this is the Dolby Theater, mind you, the big one.
The big seat.
The first theater that the theater was moderately full.
Yes.
Like they only sell a certain percentage.
Yeah. So if you buy a seat, they block off the thing next to you.
Yeah, and I left at one point to go to the restroom, and I turned around just my own curiosity to see.
To look up and
and I looked up and it looked like a normal theater of people, and it kind of got me emotional for like 5 seconds, and I realized I had to pee, but I was just like I literally I'm not even exaggerating. I walked out and as I looked up, I worked back, I was walking the corner, I was like it made me feel like the sense of normalcy of theaters, and I know they're not that important, but it's just that's part of that little bit of life, spark of life.
I know, but it's important to us. I mean, I feel like in a way, movies or TV or whatever you're into, it is important. That art part of life is important.
And what's funny is we were standing in line to get our concessions, and there was an older couple. They were older than us.
Yeah.
They're like, "Y'all here to see the Croods?"
They were so excited. I'm like, yeah, I'm excited.
So anyway,
it's a good movie.
So tell us about the Croods: A New Age.
So Croods: A New Age, at the end of the last movie, they had left their cave. They went to go find tomorrow, the new land that they will find and make home. And they come across an enclosed area, and they're like, "We found tomorrow. This is what we've been looking for forever." And it's basically a group of people that are evolved. So
they're hipsters.
They're hippies. They technically are hippies. They're living off the land. They've learned how to farm, and they've built like their own little tree house. So they're more evolved. And of course, the Croods are crude. That's why hence the name. So we have the cavemen and new men in a nice, organized
and an interesting twist.
And farms.
Guy who changed everything about the previous thing is directly connected. The bridge between both people still.
So,
and I love the opening of the film, which is not really a spoiler. They go back to the first film, and they show the meeting of the girl and guy the first time, but from his perspective.
Yes.
So you get to see the same sequence redone, but from his side.
Yes, it was.
And then it jumps ahead, and with a great montage of what they've been doing, traveling and fighting and living and.
Yes, and so obviously some of them, when they get to the new Tomorrowland, are so excited. They're, "Oh my gosh, this is the greatest place ever!" And of course, some of them are like, "No."
And we all know there's going to be some shenanigans and twists and turns and growing pains.
Well, and I think trying to get cavemen to live in a modern man society, very.
And all I want to tell you about the most important part of this entire movie, Punch monkeys. Punch monkeys. Punch.
Like
Punch. Punch monkeys are the best new thing.
I loved the hipster family. I loved the guy. He had a man bun. He's rocking his man bun. You can see it in the poster. I'll make it a little bigger.
They even had like a little man cave. And
yeah. This is a funny movie.
I wrote in the review that this movie was very much reminded me, even more so than the first one did, of kind of the Flintstones-esque creativity of using things to create things.
Yes.
So, using this rock or this animal to work this in a way that, because you don't have technology, so you can't make a phone.
It is very Flintstones-y.
Yeah, it had a lot of that stuff, but it still feels like you're in the same world. It didn't feel like suddenly it's different.
Right.
And I liked how the different characters were connecting with certain things, but then it shifted. And there was a lot of cliche stuff that where it's going to go.
Yeah.
But I just like a lot of the evolution, if you will, to the characters, while still making it feel like the same movie.
Yeah.
Like, I actually like this one better than the first one.
I think I do too. And what I like more is we get a little bit more about Mom and Grandma.
Yeah. Graham, who's the best?
She is the best. And I feel like we get a little bit more of the women. We still have, what's his name? Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage is the dad.
The dad. I mean, he is hilarious.
He is.
And there's one part, not a spoiler, like he takes off his shirt.
Oh, I knew that was going to happen
and the guy's like, "Hey, feel free to take off your cloth,
your whole chest hair."
And he's like, "I did." It's just
when I saw that, before they said anything, when I saw that, I'm like, "Oh my god, there's going to be a chest hair joke soon."
It has to be.
I didn't expect it to be that one, but
it's so funny. I loved it.
It is a friend of mine, Scott, who dresses Shaun the Sheep.
Yes, it's Shaun the Sheep.
He made a comment on my review, which I agree with him completely. I think this might be one of the most beautiful and vibrant and best animations that DreamWorks has done since like the How to Train Your Dragon stuff.
It is
in a while, because it's like when they get to that new place
tomorrow,
it is just so many colors. It's like an overload to your senses.
It is. And what we realized, watching the first movie, which carries to this, is the combo creatures, like the flying turtle birds.
I love it. My favorite thing is anytime anybody does anything with creatures or prehistoric stuff, is when they create anything that can create new creatures and how creative. My cartoonist side, I want to see how creative. Anybody can draw a T-Rex.
Yes.
But can you make a T-Rex with like duck feet?
Yeah.
And just do
so
weird
this
things.
one, I really like the kangaroos.
Yeah.
It's a kangaroo armadillo hybrid. Those were so funny.
I like the turtle birds.
The turtle birds in the first was...
Punch monkeys are the best.
Punch monkeys are fun. But there's a bunch of cool animals, like the elephant moo cow, moo something. I don't remember. But it's so funny. The moolifants. Oh, they're so funny. And and I like how they
land sharks.
Yeah, land sharks. I don't know why we would have land sharks, but that sounds like that other movie. But there's just so many cute things about this, but it still really centers on family. They love each other. Do we evolve? Do we not?
And it's interesting. They deal with the evolution aspect in multiple layers. It's not just the evolution of the Cro-Magnon type people becoming more evolved as species, as humans.
Don't be species.
It's also the evolution of going from being a kid to leaving the home and relationships and it's all evolution. It's just in a different direction and dealing with it of me and you falling in love. So your evolution, but then the parents letting go of you, falling in love, and
correct,
and all that different stuff. That's all part of life.
Yeah, because that starts happening where Ipa's like, what if I want to go with Guy?
Yeah.
And the dad's like, okay, well, we all stay together on our sleep pile. And they're like, well, what if we want our own
sleep? I love the sleep pile.
That's so gross. But, it's random things like that. So, it was multiple layers. I
was annoyed at first because I was thinking after all the stuff we went through in the first movie, because the first movie has some evolution aspects, too, of the dad having to accept somebody else and change. But then it felt like this movie started and it's like he reverted back to his old ways.
Yes.
But in reality, he didn't. He just accepted this new guy.
But that was it.
And everything else, more than that. And he was willing to leave the cave.
Yes.
But everything else was about fighting and protection.
And there is one funny scene where he goes full on caveman.
Oh, she's like, too much.
Yeah. I love that animation, that art on that. You'll see it. It's so funny. She's like, okay, a little too much. Bring it back.
Yeah, bring it back. That part was good.
That was funny. So I love these movies. They're so fun. And I like Nicolas Cage in this. Because that is such a Nicolas Cage thing. Like, he is like the tough guy.
I love Nicolas Cage. He gets a bad rap.
Dad kind of guy.
Yeah, he gets a bad rap, and he takes on some weird roles.
He does some weird stuff. But
and I know he's a little hipster. He's a little hipster weird guy too. I know, but I love him because he throws everything into every one of these weird roles he does. And ever since Mandy, almost every movie he's had come out, I've really enjoyed on some fashion.
Yeah. Even the jujitsu from last week.
He was good in that movie.
There you go.
The movie itself is a little cheese, but it's exactly what you think it's going to be, and he's great in it.
Yeah. This movie is really great. You need to see it. Take your whole family.
The Croods: A New Age is in theaters.
Go to the theater. It's okay.
And not only was it the #1 movie in theaters, but you might be like, of course it was. Nothing else came out.
No.
But it was the highest grossing movie since the shutdown. I mean, I think it's like, what did I tell you, $14 or $19 million or something. Yeah. Which, again, doesn't sound like much, but when nothing's being shown and nobody's going, that means people got out and went.
Yeah. So thank you, Thanksgiving.
So, yeah, who knows? So the big one will be Wonder Woman when it opens up. Because Christmas Day, we've got Wonder Woman, Monster Hunter, News of the World.
We're going to be there all day.
3 big ones opening up, with Wonder Woman being the only one that has a home option.
Yeah.
So
I'd love to see it on the big screen first.
Well, even if we see it on the small screen, it's not like we won't go see it on the big screen.
I want to see it on the big screen.
I know, but it's not like we won't.
I mean, we'll see it twice at least.
We'll see it on the big screen.
I know, but I want to go there and
Dolby.
But I want to go Dolby and have my rumble seat and have my popcorn.
You just want to shake your booty.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on. What do we got next, sister?
All right, so let's go to this one.
All right.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Are you ready for that?
Yeah. What do you mean, am I ready for that?
Are you ready for this?
All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is a movie called Sound of Metal.
Who are you guys?
The movie it stars Riz Ahmed, who most people would know from Rogue One, Star Wars Rogue One. He was the pilot character in that. Bodhi, is that right?
Yes.
Bodhi
saves us all.
Something like that.
On the beach.
Yeah. And then Olivia Cook, which I don't remember what we've decided she was from.
I don't even know.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. But it's a story about this couple who are in a band, like a heavy metal band. He's the drummer.
I don't know what kind of band that was.
Well, it's a metal band.
It's weird.
We don't have to like the music. That's not the important part of the movie.
Okay, good.
They're in like a really weird metal, grunge, death metal
one of those screaming
Yeah, it's like a death metal kind of band. But he's a drummer, and he starts to lose his hearing. And then that's the point of the movie.
That's the whole point.
So it's him trying to come to terms with not only what can he do about it, how to start living with it, how to adapt to it, and how to accept it.
Yes.
So this movie was kind of hitting personal to me.
Yes.
And I don't know if it helped you better understand some of the things that I deal with. Because if you don't know this,
tell everybody.
I have degenerative hearing loss in both my ears. So technically I'm supposed to have hearing aids. But the doctor said when it bothered my quality of life, my quality of life is fine. He didn't ask me if it bothered her quality of life.
It bothers quality of life.
And I know for a fact that I don't hear a lot. I read a lot of lips. I didn't realize how many lips I read until the mask started. And now I don't understand half of what people say. I'm not deaf by any means, so I'm not yet. Not complaining like other people. But the thing about this movie is the story itself probably would have been powerful alone.
Yes.
But the filmmaker created an environment and an experience with this film where you're experiencing what he hears and does not hear.
It's so crazy.
The sound on this movie is we received a thing from the PR people when they sent it to me. It said, please note the sound distortions and issues in the film are on purpose. Don't try to adjust your television, whatever else, because there's times where things go silent. There's times with weird humming. There's times when things are muffled, like it's turned way down and you don't understand it. And so you literally miss discussions.
Yeah.
And there's no subtitles. But it's on purpose. Yeah,
and the thing that really got me is when he's driving and the environmental, I think most of us, when you're driving, you have the windows down, it creates that thing.
Oh, yes.
Okay, he's just driving normal in that tinnitus sound, that humming. Mm-hmm. And you look at me like, this is what I hear a lot of times. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So do you have a ring in your ear right now?
Huh? No, just kidding. It's mild right now. It's not bad.
But you have some.
There's always some kind of a humming going on.
Oh my gosh.
But it's like right now, it's like it's so toned down right now. It's like right now it sounds like if you hear the subtle hum of an AC.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I hear right now, or like the sound of your fan on here.
Fan, yeah.
That's kind of what I hear. I'm not just hearing the fan, but that's what. Yeah. It's that tone, so it's not really that bad right now.
So.
But then there's other times, like if I roll down my windows and drive, I can't drive on the highway with my windows down, listen to the radio, and or be on the phone, which you shouldn't be on the phone on the radio. But I can't hear more than one thing. I just hear the road.
Yeah. Well, and I've noticed it. It's gotten worse, whether or not you've noticed
what the roads?
No, you're hearing, because things have gotten louder in the past 20 years or whatever.
No, they haven't. They've gotten quieter. I don't know what you're talking about.
But like, you listen to everything very loudly, and your phone scares me, and everything's like speakerphoned and loud and vibrating.
I try not to be that jerk. If I'm in public, I don't do it, but I have to use my speaker on my phone to talk speakerphone, because it's hard for me to hear it like this.
I wonder, have you ever tried using like the headphones? Is that worse?
It depends. It's like sometimes, but it hurts my ears to put anything in it.
Because your ears.
Like my ears always hurt. Like they're always sore. Like right now, this one hurts, and it's like tender to the touch right here. What is that? And I don't know if I'm just weird. Here. So when I was growing up, we'll get into the movie in a second. When I was growing up, I got tons of ear infections when I was a kid.
Yes.
But that was assumed from swimming all the time.
Did you have tubes?
No, I've never had tubes in my ears.
Oh.
Or I don't think I did.
I had to call your
mom. I don't think they invented tubes then. But
not at all.
It's just like I was supposed to have braces on my legs. I didn't get those either. But that's why I have one leg that just points the opposite direction. That was a joke. Calm down. That was an attack on disabled people. And then obviously my years of fighting and getting hit, and then I listened to a lot of loud bassy music on top of it. So I think it was a compilation of everything, that kind of did it. And the years of getting hit in the head, they used to tell me it was from just getting hit in the head. And because I fought a lot, so I've had times where I got hit and blood came out of my ear, and
that's not normal.
I didn't tell my mom, because she's like, if you ever get hurt, I'm not
gonna fight anymore. Oh my gosh!
So you know how when you take a shower and sometimes you feel water drain out of your ear?
Yes.
When I was at church one day, the day after a test or something, I was sitting in church and I felt, I took a shower that morning, and I felt like my ear drained because it had been muffled. I'm like, oh, the water came out. I was like that, and it was all blood. But I didn't tell my mom. I quickly cleaned it up, because I was told I wouldn't be able to fight again if I got hurt. So I didn't tell her. So that's why for years she knew I was hard of hearing when we got together. But my assumption was always my left ear was bad, but my right ear was good. So she always sat on my right side. I could actually hear her, and she got another room. I'd always find myself, the reason I could hear her is I would go in the room when I knew she was talking. And I don't know if I'm sure you've noticed, but other people may or may not notice that I tend to turn my head.
Thinking.
To listen.
So you can hear.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen me do it at the movies. I'll be sitting like this. I'll be like.
Should I be sitting on the other side again?
It's not so much that, but I'm talking about listening to the theater. Like even the big gigantic speakers, I'll be like this, and I'll turn my head.
So when you went a few years ago, what percentage of hearing do you have, or have lost, or however they?
I don't remember what they said. They just said, so I got an infection years ago, and my left ear swole shut, so I was completely deaf on the side of my head. And so obviously when you get something like that, they are afraid that you could damage your eardrum and can permanently go deaf. So once they pried it open and shut medicine in there, let me tell you, it was awful. When it started healing, I had to go in for hearing tests. And so they were like, what's what? And I'm like, this one sucks, this one's fine. So they did the test, and they said, okay, so which one did you say was fine? I'm like, this one's fine. It's A-okay. I thought I had awesome hearing on this side and crappy hearing on this side. And they were like, okay, well, this side is down here. I'm like, well, that's not good, but I figured that. They're like, this side is right here. And I'm like, is that good? Like, no, good is up here. So they were like, after the first test, they said, you should probably have hearing aids.
Yeah.
But how does it affect your life? I mean, it doesn't. All right.
It does. So, you just adapted and you don't notice it. I have super good hearing. And so when I'm watching stuff, it's very quiet. And you'll walk into the room and you're like, is the sound even on? Like, you literally can't hear it, can you? It is on. So, and
here's what's annoying about that. I'm going to put this publicly out there.
Oh, Lord.
So because she knows I can't hear, and she has super hearing, we have an understanding that she's supposed to be one eavesdropping on other people for me. And half the time when I want to know something, she tells me all this information that's nonsense. But as soon as I know something good's going on, I'm like, what did they? She's like, I don't know. I wasn't listening. I'm like, you got one job. Okay, let's talk about the movie.
Anyway, so that leads us to Sound of Metal, because the humming, you hear it. There's times where it's real muffled. There's times where you hear nothing. There's times where you kind of hear and you don't. And it's weird, man. And so I was looking at you and I kept asking, like, does this happen? Does this happen? You're like, yeah.
Well, you know what's crazy? This is one of the first times I've watched the movie and it didn't sound weird.
That's weird.
Because it was like on the frequency sometimes where I'm hearing the movie exactly what I'm hearing. And I know it's supposed to be that way. So I'm like,
yeah. But the thing is, we're really following his journey of dealing with it, because with what he does, hearing is essential.
I really thought it was going to be more about him trying to figure out how to adapt and keep playing drums. And it's not. It's about him trying to adapt to accepting it.
Yeah.
And then how to deal with other people. Because it gets pretty heavy.
It is heavy. It's very sad to
and
me.
He's really good at it.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sad.
And like the final shot, I'm not going to spoil it, but the final shot of the movie is probably one of the best parts.
Yeah.
Because it says nothing, and it almost, if you don't really pay attention to something earlier in the film, because this part of the movie attaches to something earlier that starts and kind of continues through the movie without ever being talked about really again.
Yeah, and then it comes back.
And it's the last scene of the movie, and the movie just kind of ends. But if you really pay attention to what just happened, you realize, holy crap, that is the most amazing moment.
Yeah.
But it's really good, and just that experiencing. I really would have preferred to see this on the big screen.
Yeah.
Just to see how those, because who knows how many sound changes happen that you don't see here in the smaller.
It was hard to watch because of that, and I think it was hard to watch just emotionally, because you find out who are the people that are really willing to help you and who's not, and how this affects your relationship.
Well, it makes you start realizing too why people don't tell people that they have a problem. Like, it's very interesting. Like, before the pandemic mask stuff, people that knew me knew I had a hearing problem, but I didn't tell everybody else.
But now you tell everyone.
I have to tell everybody now.
Like, we're at Walmart and he's like, I'm hard of hearing, so if you're gonna say, it's like.
And it's because I can't, now that I realize. Probably the best thing from this pandemic, outside of, the risk of saying that, is I've realized how much I've had to rely on looking at somebody in their face. And thankfully, I was raised to look at somebody in the eyes, do martial arts, and just my parents. Because, you should always look at people when you talk to them. And so I've always been that way. And I've always been silly about, if somebody's on the other side of the room, I'm very obnoxious about, like, even before my hearing started going bad.
Oh, Lord. This cat's trying to make its move.
So nobody really notices the change, but now I've had to tell my people in my class, because I teach at a basketball gym a lot of times, and so it echoes.
It's hard to hear in there anyway.
And so I guess one of the things out of this movie that made me curious, I kind of asked you, but I didn't really, but we're about to have an incident.
Go, Xander, go.
You want to come up here? Sure. Out of curiosity for you, who somebody has super hearing, I know you were all. She started treating me different for like 2 days after watching this movie.
No, I did not.
Yes, she did. She started talking louder at me. She was asking if I was okay, and she'd hear a sound and go, "Do you hear that? Is this what it sounds like?" And I'm like,
one of the things that did worry me was, like, this guy goes into this whole, like, crazy anxiety panic attack, which I think that's what would happen to me. So that's what has that ever happened to you?
No.
But then
I think the only panic I ever got was when this thing sealed up and it completely was gone.
Yeah.
Because at the time I didn't know it was because of the infection. I was thinking that, oh crap, this ear just shut down.
That's what I'm thinking. Is that even scary? Is that a possibility?
But everything, it's weird. Is everything? I think I told you when we were talking was, it all reverts back to really more my martial arts world, because the most terrified I've ever been, totally stupid. It had no real.
It's not stupid.
No, but it had no real.
That's what an irrational fear is about.
The rationality to it, because when I had my shoulder surgery and my knee surgery, both times I'm like, my martial arts career is over. Now I don't know what I'm gonna do in my life. I'm useless. And I wasn't even a full-time instructor. That I had a job. I was just getting a knee surgery. It wasn't like.
I know, but
and I thought that was the end.
Oh, Lord. The zoo is here.
But anyway,
Okay,
no. But what I was asking
say?
you is did it make you? I know it made you all paranoid and upset about me, but did it help you understand or make you think differently outside of suddenly treating me like I'm handicapped about my hearing situation? Or did not really?
Not really, because I know it's
already... She's insensitive, that's why.
No, because I know it's an existing condition.
Well, I'm thinking about not really so much that. Is more about now that you know what I'm kind of hearing or going through and dealing with daily, did it change the way you see it? Or is it pretty much the same thing as what you thought?
I think it's worse than what I thought. The only thing I guess I worry about now is what happens if you completely lose your hearing? Then what? No, I know we can sign. It's fine.
Then you're going to have to get your crap together so I can hear things. And tell me the info, sister.
No, but like literally. And then I was thinking, oh my gosh, what would happen if you can't hear? Like people do it all the time. People live normal lives. But to me, that would totally give me a panic attack because I enjoy singing. Oops. I enjoy singing, so how would you sing without being able to hear? I don't know. But
we've seen all these people that have sing without being able to hear.
I know, it freaks me out.
Like that one lady on America Got Talent that was barefoot on the floor so she could hear the music, so she could still sing. And so there's ways on that. I mean, the drummer from Def Leppard only got one arm.
That's true. That's true. Anyways, this is an amazing movie. It really makes you think. It's about so many different levels. I mean, the hearing's one thing, but his relationship's another thing. His interpersonal relationship, he has some personal issues he's dealing with already, and
it can be a little annoying dealing with the sound stuff to it.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't realize
what's happening,
what's going on. But it's on purpose. It wants you to be annoyed. It wants you to be frustrated.
It wants you to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, it wants you to understand
that uncomfortable.
That's why he's upset. That's why he's freaking out. It's not because we're trying to be artsy.
No.
It's trying to make, and I give the movie props because they hired a lot of actual deaf people.
Yes, thank you.
To be in the film, because he's at like this deaf camp. I guess that's kind of what it is, a halfway house.
Yeah, community
school.
Thing,
yeah, it's almost like
they teach you.
It's like a deaf cult.
They have to. That'd be a cool song or a cool
deaf
band
cult.
name. Cool band name. They teach you how to sign. They teach you just how to live, like the flashing lights, and I mean the different things you have to do. And it's interesting. This I did like. He knows nothing, so they literally have to send him to elementary school
level.
He's in elementary school, just learning his like ABC. You know, like
I will say that this movie made me seriously start thinking about learning sign language.
I think we need to. I think it'd be helpful because then we can talk about people.
But not really so much the movie, more you, because you started making me paranoid because you kept going. What if you go completely deaf? Is it getting worse? Do you need to go back to the doctor?
I'm sending you to the doctor.
I haven't had to go to the doctor in a couple of years because.
But you need to go every few years.
I had to go for consecutive for like every 3 months for like 2 years to see if it was getting worse. It leveled out at the time. Of course, they said it could go horribly wrong later, or it may never change.
I made you paranoid.
She's like, has it gotten worse? I think it's worse. You need to go. What are you going to do if you can't talk to him? What if you can't do it? Oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, I was fine. But this is the same woman that when I had this mysterious leg pain, I went from anywhere from having a pulled muscle to cancer because she wouldn't stop diagnosing me.
WebMD.
Yeah, WebMD.
Thank you, WebMD. Anyway,
moving on. Sentimental is
love you.
Huh?
I know. I love you.
It's
not a real sign language.
It is. It's sign language for us.
I think.
So anyway, Sound of Metal is. I think it's like theaters on demand or whatever. So you really should.
Please watch it. It's really, really good.
And if you don't know, I'm pretty sure Riz Ahmed probably played the drums in the movie because he is a real musician.
Oh,
he's a rapper and
cool
everything else. So
he's a DJ.
Moving on. What we got next? That's not as heavy about my life.
Okay. You want to talk about this dumb movie?
Sure. How dare you, sir?
It's a dumb fun.
So the next one is a comedy that was written and directed by Josh Duhamel. He is not the heir to the Hormel chili empire. He is Josh Duhamel. I believe he was in Transformers. He used to be married to Fergie, I believe, all kinds of stuff. It's got a great cast. Oh no, that's not even that. It's got a great cast with Nick Swartzen, Dax Shepard, Kevin Dillon, and of course Olivia Munn, Josh Duhamel.
Good girl.
So
sorry, we are still training this dog.
It's got a great cast in it. It's kind of this buddy comedy thing. Tell everybody what it's about, sister.
So the buddy games, it's a group of these guys, which this sounds so typical for like you and like guy friends, where every summer they have what they call the buddy games. And it's all to win some dumb trophy, which is basically a bucket.
It's a bucket that has their names written on whoever won it each year.
Yeah. And so they compete in these dumb competitions, which is totally something you would do. It's dumb stuff.
It is something that I have done.
It's dumb stuff like the corn dog eating contest, smashing a watermelon with your head, and rolling down a hill in one of those big bubble things. I mean, these are the dumbest, most dangerous
And as we were watching it, I told her there wasn't a thing in this movie that I would not have done.
No, I would not go down
the giant water and there's some things in that movie that I have done.
Lord have mercy. But basically, there's a falling out, the buddy games end, and then they want to bring them back. But these guys are like older.
Yeah. Well, they were old when it started.
I know, but
so like, what did you? Because you didn't have any knowledge of the movie, whatever. You know, I know you don't always like movies like this because you get stressed out.
They stress me out.
But what did you think of the film after you
watched it? I like the film. I mean, I had to look beyond the dumb game stuff because that's just, I think, men being men. But it was actually the story about these friends and their relationship and
friends for dinner.
Okay. So it's about them and their relationship, but it's interesting because, oh my goodness, we got a dog fight and a cat fight. Leave the cat alone, please. Thank you.
Actually, he didn't do anything.
It's a cat's dramatic. It's about the relationship, though, of them, but then how that affects, I think, also their other relationships, because they have interesting relationships with each other, but also with their families, with their parents, with girlfriends and husbands and wives and whatever. I mean, it affects everything they do because of their friendship. But I thought that was interesting because it's like some of your friends, like you have your groups of friends, like we all have our groups of friends. And then, but how do those affect your other groups? And I'll tell you a funny story.
Oh, goodness.
A couple of years ago, we had our Halloween party. This was at the old house. And we invited just like everybody we know. But it's interesting how everybody
when they segregate out.
They group themselves. So like your high school friends were in one section. All the comic book people were here, and like all my friends were here.
All the karate people over here.
Yeah, karate people. So it's like, hey, let's go.
Then you have those few waywards that don't really belong to any of those groups.
No, so they just go wherever. So I was like, hey, let's move these people over here. So we did that, and then those people moved over here. Like physically, they moved, and I was like, this is so crazy. So I thought that was an interesting layer of this because that's part of it is how it affects everyone around them with their stupidity of the games.
That's a very deep look into it all. What I liked about it too is it's a very fun movie, but it is funny. It's predictable. It's ridiculous. It's over the top craziness.
They try to make it hurt.
It was while they pushed the boundaries with some of the humor. I was expecting it to be way crazier than it actually was. But that's not a bad thing. It kind of toned it down and had more believability to it, even though it went into crazy worlds and involving scrotums and all kinds of things.
Yeah, it was a little bit too much.
But I found it interesting and really liked the twist to say like the ending didn't go the cliched ending you'd normally expect.
Which I love.
I did. I like that too. And then you think all the stuff you know is going to go a certain way, but then it changes. But but beyond that, it's a very stereotypical, crazy buddy comedy.
Yeah, it is.
You know, with a great cast, they seem to be. It is a great cast, and they seem to be having a blast making this movie.
It is a really good cast. I will give it that.
It's a kind of a throwaway comedy. It's not going to break the walls and the genre down or anything like that. But it's worth checking out if you like it. If you like anybody in it or just like those kind of crazy comedies, it's worth checking it out.
I think we'll like everybody in this.
Yeah.
I mean,
everybody was
there's going to be
somebody Nick Swartzen, who I think you are annoyed by. He's the one that did the shooting.
Yeah.
He was actually still crazy, but toned down.
Yeah.
But I think he's toned down a little bit. He played Bender. I think he's toned down a little bit as he's gotten older because he's finally starting to look like an older man.
Yeah.
Instead of just the crazy guy on Adam Sandler movies.
And Kevin Dillon.
Why are you clicking on Kevin Dillon? That's Matt Dillon's brother.
I know who he is. I want to think it's Matt Dillon, but the thing is,
he looks just like him.
He does, except for that hairline.
Well, he's older.
That's changed.
Kevin Dillon's older.
I know.
And he was from Entourage. He was on the Entourage series.
So, yeah.
And I love Kevin Dillon. Kevin Dillon's great. And for all you Supernatural fans, there's a little sneak cameo in there.
There is. That's all I'm gonna say. So you want to watch this movie and pay attention. And I'm excited now. They're branching out.
Buddy Games is available now on the DVD from Lionsgate.
There you go. So
moving on, sister. What else we got?
Well, let's go see. What do we have to talk about? We have these two and this one.
Are the last ones?
Yeah. So.
Are they really? I thought we had one other thing. I guess you're right. No, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, whatever you want to talk about. Sure.
Okay.
So tell us about this next one.
So this next movie is called Superintelligence, like me, and it stars Melissa McCarthy, and it's basically artificial intelligence has come alive and it's following her around. That's all you need to know, and funniness ensues.
It's another film that I thought it was because of COVID. But apparently this movie was done in like 2019, and then they made a deal and felt that it just thought it'd be better to release it. So it's an HBO Max movie. It's not a theatrical release, but it was supposed to be originally. It is directed by Bill Falcone, who is Melissa McCarthy's real life husband. He's also in the movie.
He always has a little cameo in there.
Yeah, and it's also got James Corden, who's the voice of the artificial intelligence, which is a funny twist on why it's his voice.
Funny, yes.
What did you think of the film?
I thought it was funny. I thought it was really cute.
I enjoyed it. It was not okay. So I love Melissa McCarthy.
I do too.
I love her stupid silliness, but I also love that more recently she's been doing more serious stuff.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause she did that gangster movie, then she did one about the book writer.
Yeah.
So she's been doing a lot of
different things
lately, and so I fully expect this one to go harken back to her crazy comedies like Tammy and whatnot, and it doesn't really.
It didn't go that far.
Toned down.
Yeah.
So if you're one of those that are annoyed by that Melissa McCarthy,
this one's okay. You'll like this. Yeah.
This is more of her on that TV show Mike and Molly.
Yeah.
It was kind of that
it's
level.
Funny. But it's funny.
It was funny, but it's really more of a romantic comedy than it is just a straight craziness. Like I thought with Superintelligence and the AI, it was going to be kind of like Spy.
Yes.
Where she was going to be running around.
True.
And while that element is there, it's really about her personal life and her love interest and relationships. But it has that over-the-top vibe of showcasing how technology and things like that have kind of taken over.
Yes.
It's very much like that movie. There was two of them. There's one was called Her.
Yes.
Which was like that. But what was that other one with the guy with the smartphone? You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
With Adam Devine.
Adam Devine. Let's go with it.
It was just last year, I think.
Yeah. What was the name of that movie?
I don't know. It's
like Zigsby, something. What was it called?
Jexy.
Yeah. See, I was close.
So it's a similar movie to Jexy.
Yes, similar. Yes, the AI takes over her life, and it's interesting, like random things like the AI's in her rice cooker. So I'm like, oh my gosh, disconnect the rice cooker. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It makes you,
some of that's ridiculous. Like there's no way it would be connected to this.
Yes.
But it makes you wonder, like, what could things do, and what could be watching you, and how could it be doing it?
I'm kind of liking all these movies that are going in that direction. They're very self-aware. Well, and I am kind of scared of an AI, like, really coming to life.
Yeah.
Because it would get rid of the humans. Yeah, Skynet is real, my friends.
It gets everybody. It does frustrate me with all these movies that have been made over the years, that then you see some news story come out of somebody saying, hey, they've created this AI that's going to get a self-aware intelligence for mowing your lawn. And I'm like, that's where things go wrong. It's just like there was a story about it was splicing DNA with some apes to make more intelligent apes. I'm like, have you not seen Planet of the Apes? You got to be careful with that thing.
Like, that's how it starts. Because Caesar says no.
Like, I've never understood when people make those kind of decisions.
Come on.
Why use the ape? I understand it's close to human, but why not say, we're going to try this with dogs? There's never been...
I would love a dog to be like, squirrel.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of stuff about crazy dogs that are intelligent. It's usually just crazy dogs like they are.
Well,
that makes us out of making them...
Dog spies.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, most movies or stuff like that, you see, if it's a crazy dog, it's just because it's a crazy dog. It's an animal.
Yeah.
We don't get a lot of movies where the dog got intelligent and started killing everyone.
Nah.
But we've had the movies about the apes. Get it together.
That's what I don't understand is people like, why don't you just like pay attention to the movie? Really? Because it's art imitating life, and now it's life imitating art, which is going to cause the whole cycle, people.
That interview I was reading to you that I think it was Jude Law. I think it was him from talking about Contagion. It was saying when they were shooting that movie back when that was going around,
was a long time ago.
The scientists that were working on the movie with them and telling them how things would work and this and that told them that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when this happens.
That was in 2011.
Yeah, and that movie is the same thing that's happened with the coronavirus.
And it's interesting because remember,
it's spread through droplets and everything's the same.
But remember, the contagion was because the bat bit the pig.
Yeah.
And now they're saying the corona was somehow related to bats or something.
Somebody humanized a bat.
Which,
but they were telling them on that film. They said it's not a matter of when or if, it's when. And here we are, and it's happening. And
we don't listen.
So
we're dumb.
It's interesting. But anyway, this movie's not that heavy.
No,
this movie is silly.
It is silly. And I like it.
It works. It's fine.
Cute. And I think James Corden was good.
And you don't like him.
I don't particularly like him. I think he's too dramatic, like drama queen over the top for me. I know, and that's what I don't get because English people are very.
But you have to look at the English comedians. They're over the top.
I don't know.
Their comedy is over the top.
He's too much for me. I like him, and I like the car singing thing, but sometimes he's just too much.
Which that's what made it. Are they starting?
Sabini?
No, she's not. Where's he at?
He's lying down over here.
Okay.
Oh, now
it's starting. Oh, we better separate them two.
Separation.
You keep talking.
Anyway, so you need to check out Superintelligence. It's available now on HBO Max. You need to get HBO Max. How much is that? It's not very much, is it?
It's $14.99, I believe, unless you attach it to a DC Universe subscription that's $4.99.
Okay.
But I found out the hard way because I got HBO Max, but DC Universe is going away. It's becoming DC Universe Infinite, which is going to be just straight comic books. So it's not going to have all the movies and stuff. All that stuff is moving. The movies, the TV shows, animated stuff is all moving to HBO Max. So I'm like, well, I don't need both. And so I canceled. Would you stop, weirdo? I canceled DC Universe, not thinking anything about it. Because it was like $7.99 and HBO Max $4.99. And then I got an email that says, you canceled your subscription to DC Universe, and it was part of the bundle of HBO Max. So you will now be charged $14.99 for HBO Max. And I'm like, but it really is about even because it went from $7.99 to $5. Yeah, so like whatever.
Sabine, can you be quiet for a little bit? We got two more movies.
If you don't care about HBO Max for Superintelligence, they're going to be streaming Wonder Woman on there.
Wonder Woman.
So if you're ready to go to the theaters, that's how you're going to be able to get it. So
all right. We might have
a problem.
Yeah, I think we need to let her out and close the door.
All right, you mean just leave her out?
Yeah, just leave her out there. She'll be okay.
Well,
Sabine, go. Go be free. Free Willy. Vader.
Both going.
No, Vader. Come here.
Come on. You keep going with the show.
All right, we have another movie to talk about. Why don't we put... Well, yeah, there you go. Close the door. Sorry, we had to lock her out. She'll scratch at the door.
She'll start banging the door.
That's fine. We're almost done. All right, we have two more movies to talk about. So, new movie on Netflix just came out, Christmas Chronicles 2.
Dose.
But we went back and revisited the first Christmas Chronicles. I hope you watched it because it is a super fun movie.
And it's a movie that you should not work.
Shouldn't.
To say Kurt Russell is Santa Claus would be a statement I thought I'd never hear. And it's something that I would have never thought would be okay.
Well, and you tried to tell your mom about it. And
yeah, my mom was like, I'm not watching Kurt. That's stupid. But I'm like, Mother, you're not going to understand that he is fully invested in this role.
It works.
There's a I think I told you, but there was an article from Chris Columbus, who not the guy that discovered America, but
he didn't discover America. He just came and killed everyone.
You know what I mean? Well, he discovered America. There was only people here.
Yeah, he didn't discover anything.
He discovered it for their country.
He just came
and then he wiped them out.
Syphilis.
And we're thankful he did because we
Thank you for bringing syphilis.
Because we get to eat turkey now.
Dumb.
But he produced the first movie and he directed the second movie. And he said in a recent interview that Kurt Russell made a statement about this character will be the last character he plays.
Nice.
Now I'm assuming the implication is hoping to do more than these. I don't think this means this was the last one.
Right.
But he said he's the kind of guy that most people the Santa Claus role is a joke.
Yeah. Hollywood,
Tim Allen turned it into a franchise, but and Kurt Russell was actually up for that role.
Yes.
In that one too. But Kurt Russell's beard is his real beard. He really grows it out.
Oh, it's so nice too.
And they said that he's the kind of guy who shows up with a 170-page backstory for this Santa Claus character. You're like, you don't need a backstory for the Santa Claus character, but he created one because that's how invested he is in the role. And it shows. He looks like he's having a ton of fun. He looks
like it. And I'm going to tell you, that beard's not just a beard. He's got like the little wispy curls of the beard. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so luscious.
Well, I think the first time we saw that beard was in Bone Tomahawk, which is a great movie.
Nice.
And then, of course, we had The Hateful Eight, and then I think he got rid of the beard at one point, and then it come back. I think they said it takes him like 7 weeks or 7 months or something.
Manly.
I don't remember what it is to grow that beard
That is a manly beard.
That is. That's up on par with Sam Elliott's mustache.
Man, that's good. Anyway, so the first movie, Christmas Chronicles, we follow him on Christmas Eve delivering gifts, and a brother and sister catch him in the act, hitch a ride, and
do you know what that
craziness
movie is a loose remake of, according to Chris Columbus?
What's that?
It is a loose remake, not intentionally a loose remake, but the story is basically shifted into a Christmas Santa Claus movie of Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh, that's so funny.
Which Chris Columbus directed. Was his first movie, I believe.
Funny. Anyway, so that's the Christmas Chronicles, and then we get to part 2. Which kind of continues the story.
Well, one of the things they did, and this is a spoiler, but it's in the trailer for 2 now, so it's not really a spoiler. But at the end of the first film, the last scene of the movie,
very last scene,
Mrs. Claus shows up, and then it's revealed that it's Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell's real life lady, because they've never been married. But legally they probably are at this point. They've been together since,
I think they are,
for like 30 something years or something. I think they've been
together.
You know what?
It works for them.
Yeah,
it works. So, did we have an?
So in Christmas Chronicles 2, this is full on Mr. and Mrs. Claus.
Yes.
So she's now jumped into the franchise.
She's in it now.
And it's not.
And she's great in this.
She looks like she's having fun too.
I love her anyway. I love me some Goldie Hawn. I'm all the way back to Private Benjamin Goldie Hawn.
I was never. Private Benjamin's funny in Wildcats and a lot of the other stuff she did. I like her all the way back to Laughing.
Oh, I never watched that.
And wow. But she
you're old.
That's what you just did. I wasn't alive when it was new. I just watched it. I like the Three Stooges too, but there was color on TV when I was born. But she
now raise your right hand.
But she kind of.
Take off your hat.
I haven't been as big of a fan of her later stuff before she kind of, because then she kind of disappeared from the spotlight for a long time.
Well, she was busy.
And then she showed back up with and maybe before that, but noticeably for that kidnap movie with her and Amy Schumer.
Oh, that was funny.
I forgot the name of it, but it doesn't matter. But oh, here it goes. Stop. So anyway, but she was great in that movie, and then so now we have this one. And what is the new one about, ma'am?
So the new one kind of, in a way, connects to the first one, and now there is craziness ensues at the North Pole. Yeah. Because we have an angry person there that's unhappy with the way things were going at the North Pole, so they're going to just take over.
And this movie did exactly what you're supposed to do with a sequel. It stepped up the game.
Yes.
Kept its spirit about it.
Yes.
But made it feel bigger.
Yeah.
Without compromising its normal thing to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It goes way out off the rails a lot of times, but it's on purpose. It's entertaining, silliness. So you get a lot more with the North Pole. You get a lot more with the elves. You get a lot more everything involving Santa Claus.
Yes.
And very little in the real world. It's mostly there, which made it feel more fantastical.
Yes. And the one thing I love and I appreciate of all sequels or multiple part movies is when you make the effort to bring back the same people. So if there were people from the first one that show up in this one, it's the same people. We did look it up.
Yeah, because the older brother comes back, but he's a young man now, and so he looks a little different.
He looks different because the baby fat's gone.
The young girl is here. What I found interesting is her character has now become slightly jaded about Christmas. Mm-hmm. And in the first film, she was all about Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. So they use a very interesting dynamic of something that anybody that has a divorced parent or a widowed parent dealing with new relationships to introduce another new kid.
Yeah.
Who's kind of like her.
Younger.
And he's her from the first movie. Yeah. She's almost become the big brother from the first movie, but not as bad.
Correct.
But they already know it exists, so we get to skip past the I don't believe in you. It's different issues they deal with. Yeah. And so when it dives in, it's like, oh hey.
Yeah. There's a whole other dynamic.
I get worried though, and thankfully this didn't happen for me in this one, but I get worried when they start introducing villains for a film like this, because then you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
But they brought
this one was pretty good.
Julian Dennison, who plays kind of the antagonist in this film, and most people I know him from Hunt for the Wicker People, but most people know him from Deadpool 2.
Oh, okay.
He's the one that was the bad kid that was shooting the fire and the Deadpool's trying to kill. I love that kid. I know some people don't like him, but I love him.
Yeah.
But he was really fun in the movie too, and had his own thing. And now he's, the way it's said is he could be a permanent character in the franchise
Correct.
too.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I liked it. It was really good. There's some really good heartfelt moments, and the spirit of Christmas, and what is family, and blended families, and all these things. I think
it injects a lot of stuff that's dealing with the social stuff, whether it's interracial relationships or the blended families or the.
And I feel like too, it even uses the elves and Santa as another thing, but even so, the relationship of Mr. and Mrs. Claus and the hierarchy, like there's several levels of it, and
but they mention none of it.
No, I mean random lines.
It's there, but I mean it's not like in the
Mrs.
case
Claus
of.
did this. Well, why isn't? And they're like, oh, never thought of that.
And,
so
and
it
you get a little.
up.
I think there's some hints there, even if I'm just digging into something that's not there, of some hints of some issues that Mr. and Mrs. Claus have on stuff that she's always wanted, but they can't have. His past, because we get a little past storyline. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of elements that they could go in the next chapters, where if it's just focused on their history, you don't really need the story with these kids. You could do a whole nother thing, whether it was a prequel to show how they got together, which I hope they don't. I would like to see.
But I just, because we do get into some equality issues with men and women in a weird way with Mr. and Mrs. Claus, and it's interesting. I thought it was really interesting.
It is. It's
a
fun movie.
Being able to see more North Pole this time.
Yeah.
Because it's completely.
And I think I like that how clever it is. Again, it's kind of like we talk about the Croods, the clever uses of Christmas things like peppermints and certain toys, and the story of the North Star and things like this that are added into the elements.
It's really cool. I liked that they went in that direct. Personally, I like it because it makes sense to me. But
and they also never felt like they had to make Santa Claus the movie. No, because they talk about it in the first movie, like, I don't say ho ho ho, I'm not fat.
Yeah, he's like, I work out at the gym every day. This is how they draw me.
But
that's so funny.
But you still believe that Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, like that. We haven't got to watch it. Hopefully we get to see it for next show. But like Fat Man with Mel Gibson, who's playing a Santa Claus character, you don't look at that guy and go, that's Santa Claus. But you're not supposed to, I don't think, in that movie. But it's when you take away the elements that we know and love of a character, most of the time it's just it's Kurt Russell makes it work.
He makes it work because, like, if you go to the Santa Claus with Tim Allen,
he becomes stereotypical.
He becomes it, even though he doesn't want to, and he keeps shaving the beard and it grows back, or he keeps exercising and it grows the belly.
But he becomes the stereotypical Santa Claus.
It's Kurt Russell.
Yeah, it's Kurt Russell the whole movie. And you know what? You never stop seeing Kurt Russell.
I love it.
But you still believe that it's Kurt Russell as Santa Claus. And eventually it's Santa Claus as Kurt Russell.
Yes.
It's not.
Because he's so, one of the things that I guess I love about it, and I noticed it and I never said anything, and then I noticed it again, is like his coat, he's wearing like a cool leather coat.
Yeah, it's a leather.
He's wearing a leather jacket.
I would be fine if all Kurt Russell ever did again was new Santa Claus movies.
We'll do it. I'll take it. He's the best.
Of course, I assume he'll probably show back up at Fast and Furious again, but it's Mr. Nobody. But I love Kurt Russell.
Check this out. Christmas Chronicles and Christmas Chronicles 2 are available on Netflix.
And they are Netflix's big franchises going right now, so hopefully that will be the last of them.
They're good.
All right. So what else we got?
We had so many things to talk about.
Woo! All right, so I got to talk about what's coming out, or am I doing contest first?
What's coming out.
All right, so coming out this week is a few. It's really more some of the older stuff. We got. There's a few things here. So we got one we're going to talk about next week because I need her real opinion of this.
Lord.
But
okay. I mean,
Paramount has a lot of stuff coming out this week, but they're re-releases of older stuff. So they've got Popeye is getting the release on Blu-ray, which I'm very excited for because I love this dumb movie. I know you hate it, but it's too bad because this movie is awesome, featuring the late great Robin Williams. This is the first time on Blu-ray with all new. This is the 40th anniversary edition.
Oh, cool.
Of Popeye, the Sailor Man. Paramount is also releasing a bunch of older movies as well. We're getting a Steelbook edition 4K of Top Gun.
Nice.
That's coming out. And it's in a Steelbook because I just told you that. We have an Eddie Murphy collection being released. Now, it's not a collection in the sense of they're all together. They've got 4 movies that are all coming out at the same time.
Okay.
And kind of different things. So we got a Coming to America 4K Steelbook. another Steelbook one here,
Mm-hmm.
Coming to America, which you want to get this one because it was just announced that Coming to America 2 was picked up as... That was picked up by Amazon, so it's going to come on Amazon next year.
Okay, cool.
So I'm very excited for that.
I'll watch that.
Trading Places is going to be is getting released as part of the Paramount Presents that we've talked about on the show before. It has the little mini posters, some bonus features. It's got a new filmmaker focus on John Landis. And they did release this not long ago, so it's kind of weird they chose this one again. But it is what it is. Here it is. They are also... not long ago they released a Beverly Hills Cop 3 film collection on Blu-ray, but they're releasing Beverly Hills Cop the original on 4K.
Nice.
So you get just the original if you don't like the other two. You get this checked out. There's still been talks of Beverly Hills Cop 4. I'm assuming it's going to probably hit Netflix or something if they ever get around to finally making it. But I think with the push of these Eddie Murphy things that are happening, it might happen. And this one, which is a new one, hadn't been released in a while, is also part of the Paramount Presents, is The Golden Child, which you said you've never seen. So we'll probably talk about this movie itself next week. It is also, stop it. It's also another one that has the fold-out poster. So we'll talk about that a little more in depth. Also next week, or this week, excuse me, we've got Green Eggs and Ham, the complete first season that I believe is on Netflix. That's going to be released on DVD.
Really fun.
Then you have, oops, hold on. I got more things to grab over here.
Oh my gosh. How much stuff do we have?
All kinds of stuff to talk about. Oh, wait. Hold on. Some of this isn't part of this. It's just in my way. Okay. So we also have the release in 4Ks of both the Hobbit trilogy and the Lord of the Rings trilogy are both coming out on the 4K box set. You get all three movies, both theatrical and extended editions of all of the movies on each set. And then they're releasing Blade, the original Blade, on 4K.
Nice.
This week.
Love that.
We may or may not have some of those to give away by next week. They're also releasing on 4K Leon, aka The Professional.
Nice.
And Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Love it.
Are getting 4K releases. And that's about it on that.
Okay. Well, movies coming out. Okay. So, Tuesday, Video Demand and Digital, something called Trail of Ashes. It's somebody goes missing and a tribe tries to go find her bag. It's like, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Netflix, Angela's Christmas Wish. It's about the little girl who wants to reunite her family for Christmas. Stand, Video Demand and Digital. It's Stand, exclamation point.
I've seen something about that.
It's about a Ukrainian trying to reunite their family, but things are happening. Soldiers are involved. I don't know. It's confusing. Then Friday, December 4th, All My Life, opening nationwide. No, it has Harry Shum Jr. in it and something. It's about a newlyweds, and I don't know what's happening. Some romantic thing.
Nomadland looks interesting.
Yeah, Nomadland. Don't know. A woman during the 60s. I don't know.
It apparently has a lot of actual like nomadic people that they cast in the movie. So we'll see what happens with that.
Love it. Okay, coming to Disney Plus, Godmothered. Who is in this movie?
That girl you like.
Godmother in Training, Jillian
Isla
Bell.
Fisher and Jillian Bell.
Jillian
Bell. The
Bell.
one I told you about.
Godmother. We'll watch that. Video Demand and Digital, What Lies Below.
That one.
Okay, what says limited? Okay, Video Demand and Digital, What Lies Below. It's about this teenager who doesn't like her mother's fiance or something. There's something going on there. I don't know. That's in limited release. I don't know.
Well, we're going to talk about that one.
Okay, Video Demand and Digital, Wander. A mentally unstable private investigator is trying to figure out a mysterious death. So that sounds
It's Tommy Lee Jones and Aaron Eckhart and...
Okay, then available now for everyone on Prime, on Amazon Prime, Sound of Metal, the movie we talked about today. You have to watch it.
Yeah, so I guess that's what, Friday?
Friday.
It's going to hit Prime, so if you have Amazon Prime, you can just watch it at home.
Couple of things, limited. Video Demand and Digital.
Is Mate coming on Netflix?
Hold on, I'm not there yet.
Sorry.
Something called Luxor, okay?
Is it about the hotel?
It is not. It's about the ancient city of Luxor, and she comes across a sultan and an archaeologist, and love ensues. Then on Netflix. What were you telling me?
I just didn't know Mank was coming to Netflix.
Mank. M-A-N-K. Talk about it, because I got to sneeze.
I don't know anything about it. I just know it's Gary Oldman. It's about 1930s Hollywood that's reevaluated through the the writer Citizen Kane.
Yes, so that's going to be
alcoholic and everything else. So it's interesting.
This is limited release. So we like her.
For now. All right, well, let me tell you what. We got some giveaways happening, sister.
Contest
and we got some new ones going to probably kick in this week. But let me tell you what we got coming. So today we talked about it. We spoke about it. It's my. Never mind. We're giving away copies of Iron Mask, the Jackie Chan, Arnold Schwarzenegger sort of movie. So we got copies of that to give away. Movie we talked about a few weeks ago, Possessor Uncut. We're giving away copies of that movie.
That picture on the back is creepy.
Isn't it though?
Oh my god.
We're giving away copies of this movie. We talked about that on our show previously. Another movie we talked about today, Buddy Games. We're giving away a copy of that. So if you like to see craziness. And probably the biggest contest, and I've split them into two contests because I know some people don't like the other and they might not care anything about it. I probably would have been fine getting them both, but I thought, you know what? No. If you're going to be a hater, then you try to figure it out. We are giving away copies of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings on 4K sets.
Wow.
So great sets. They don't have a lot of bonus. Actually, they don't have any bonus features on it, just so you know. But they have, like I said, 2 copies of each film.
The extended
versions of some of these films are like almost 4 hours. So 4K doesn't hold that much. But this one has 4K and the digital codes. And when you put the digital codes, it actually puts on the theatrical and the extended cuts on your movies anywhere. So you don't get the Blu-ray in here, but you get all kinds of other stuff. So they're really cool sets.
So you get an extra hour of people walking.
Yes, and the movies look amazing. Like I'm not a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. I actually, believe it or not, I like The Hobbit more. But it's not because I think it's that much of a better film. I do enjoy them more. I think it's because I like dwarves way more than I like hobbits, and we get a lot of dwarf action. It sounds really weird instead of a lot of hobbit love. But I do appreciate that they're both brilliant filmmaking in and of what they make. But if you like them, we're giving these away as well.
There you go.
And that's it for now.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow, thumbs up, do all the things you're supposed to do. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find us everywhere. Make sure you check out the website, hollywoodmatrimony.com. Don't forget to hit the contest button.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button for our YouTube channel at all times. You get all the new trailers that we post, the new shows. We have a new show that's going to start on probably more closer to January. We get through the holidays, which let's see if we can get some shot. It will not be a live show. It'll be our first pre-recorded show. And if you like it, then you'll have ways of interjecting and deciding what we talk about next in that show. So hopefully, if you can work it all out, it's going to be a lot of fun. I will tell you this. It's going to be a reaction type show. So we're becoming those people.
That's okay. I like that. But
I think in a fun new way. So it's not going to be just new stuff. It's going to be a variety of stuff. And hopefully we'll get to sooner than later bring back the TV Tuesdays and Martial Art Movie Mondays, but things have been crazy. So January is the plan is to bring back all of our shows, including a new one. But if we can't, then we at least got this one every Sunday.
Then we try.
Hollywood Matrimony Live, where we talk about all the greatness that is in the world.
All right.
All right, and we tell you why you're
wrong. Thank you so much for watching.
Peace, love, and chicken grease.